Hello everyone, welcome on in. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It is the penultimate Betting Weekly Game Bet Match of 2024. And we're looking ahead to two matches tomorrow. Sean's favourite tournament is the ATP Tour Championships in Turin. And we're looking at the matches in the John Newcombe group, which has suddenly become a little bit interesting. Good afternoon, Sean. I know you love this. I know you love this tournament. This is your favourite tournament. I'm surprised you're not there cheering on your men and enjoying the spirits with 400 kids. Brilliant. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that does sound like right up my alley, doesn't it? Kids' Day in a tournament that I'm not a massive fan of. In somewhere cold, indoor hard. Yeah, no thanks. And
then watch a match that's probably over in 35 minutes and then you pay 200 quid for the privilege to watch it. And Turin has got the city's useless. There's nothing to do. So
I've not been there. How much are the tickets, by the way, roughly?
About 200, about 150
pounds.
They're top heavy, 150, decent seat, 150.
Well, it's a $15 million prize pot, isn't it? This is what pays for it all. People like you coming to watch a bit of Casper Ruud against Andrey Rublev on a Tuesday afternoon in November in Turin.
I haven't. Well, hence the reason why I'm sitting here in Kent. I'm not going there. I'm not going there again. Honestly, it's so expensive.
I'm not even.
And the playing.
I don't like indoor hard. I don't understand why we have to play on indoor hard at all. You know that there are places in this world that are sunny pretty much all year round. Or certain places that are sunny at the right times. Anyway, that's getting me onto the calendar. I wouldn't get me on that because that'll be the whole episode.
The plane journey out there, you would love it. It's all middle-aged women from Wimbledon and like suburbia going out there to the tennis.
Doing that.
Oh yes, and you're sitting there thinking, oh no, this is doing my head in. It's horrible.
No, I can't be doing with it. It's all right if it's Wimbledon. Yeah, you kind of expect that, but at least you can walk around a bit and say, oh, I'll go on court 14 and watch something. There, you're sat with whoever you're sat with, aren't you? And if they're stuffing themselves with boiled sweets or whatever, I can't be doing with it. It's not me.
Well,
anyway,
if you want us to work for the Turin Tourist Board or ATP Tour Championships PR department, that's where you'll find us in a few years' time. And I tell you one thing, this tournament has been obviously a tournament that you do get a few shocks, and we saw yesterday one of the biggest shocks of the year, again involving Carlos Alcaraz. I mean, if there was video footage emerged since that defeat to Casper Ruud, but it was the manner.
He was sick, wasn't he?
It was sick. There's pictures of him sneezing. There's pictures of him, which have all come out after.
I haven't seen that actually.
Have you seen it?
I've heard. No, I haven't seen the pictures. But I've seen the. Sorry, I've heard the relevant information, but I haven't seen the live show. If you want to put it that way.
There's a video of all of them standing up for a picture with the trophy at some sort of probably the night before in some sort of dinner, and Alcaraz is just sneezing and coughing, and it's only emerged yesterday, not before the match really, probably slightly after the match, but really that's changed the whole complexion of this group, John Newcombe group. At the moment, then the Stasi group is in play. We're looking at the Newcombe group here, and it's changed it, and it's a good thing for us though, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
I suppose it's
absolutely.
a good thing for us because our tip Alexander Zverev finds himself in that draw, and he won fairly comfortably, as we said, 6-4. Was it 6-4, 6-4 against Andrey Rublev?
Yeah.
And the set that
I did lean that, didn't I? 6-4 set one.
Instead of 6-4. So it's been pretty good for us. We've got Zverev, our tournament selection, going well and looking in a good shape here. And obviously, if he wins the group, he probably will avoid Yannick Sinner in the semi-finals.
That's the plan. That's how we planned it at the start, wasn't it? So, all he's got to do really is beat Ruud, probably beat Alcaraz, and might not even have to beat Alcaraz. We'll see. But he's in a good position at the minute. Yeah,
good position. And let's have that's reflected in the odds that Bet Rivers have on this John Newcombe group. Alexander Zverev, I think he was plus 140 to win the group pre-tournament. He's now minus 175. Yeah. Carlos Alcaraz is 225. A big move from the minus money we saw. Obviously, he's got this cold. He's not 100% fit as we've seen from the first round match. Casper Ruud is now $6, and Andrey Rublev got beat by Zverev is 22. So this is the betting now on the John Newcombe group, currently available with Bet Rivers. If you go to the app, you go to the website, these are the prices you'll be able to get. As I said, great for us here. Alexander Zverev, we're holding $7 tickets for him to win the tournament. Alcaraz is not fit. Our man Zverev's got one match, one win under his belt. So all pretty good. But what do you make of the tournament so far and the conditions and what you've seen? I mean, it's quite interesting, really, in terms of Alcaraz especially.
Well, in terms of conditions, we could do 20 minutes on this, couldn't we? Again, you've got players contradicting themselves. I said at the start, didn't I, right at the start of this tournament, that Sinner said it was a bit slower than last year. That turns out to be the case, but it doesn't look that slow to me, but it depends who's playing. I mean, just looking at this match now, Medvedev and Diminor, it does look pretty slow, but those two just kind of massage the ball around the court, don't they? You watch Alexander Zverev serving on it and Jannik Sinner hitting on it. It doesn't look slow. The CPI certainly suggests that it's slower, 38.3, which is quite a bit slower than the 43 point something that it's been in the last two editions, and quite a bit slower than 46 that we saw in Paris. But the players they're a bit split on it, aren't they? And Medvedev played his match against Taylor Fritz, and he said, "I'd call it medium or medium fast," is what he said. And he's the first one to complain when conditions are slow. He normally thinks everything is slow, but he's called that medium or medium fast. And then Alcaraz said there's a large, and I quote, "a very large and abrupt change between Paris and here." And he went on to say, "Personally, I like these types of slightly slower courts." And Alexander Zverev went even further. He said the court is very slow, too slow for an indoor hard court. And then he went on to say that something that was quite interesting. He said, "I believe that clay courts and hard courts are practically the same. They have almost the same speed, except for Cincinnati and Paris-Bercy, which are faster." So Zverev thinks it's really slow. Medvedev thinks it's medium or medium fast. So there you go. I mean, I have done the stats so far before this Medvedev match that's on now. It's averaging 74.4% first serve points won. Last year it was 76%. So I'd suggest it was a bit slower than last year. It still looks an all right pace court to me. If you've got decent power like a Sinner or Zverev, Alcaraz, these guys can hit through this court no problem. But yeah, a lot of consternation and difference of opinion about conditions. We seem to be talking about this every week, don't we? And the players have come out and started moaning about the balls. Zverev went on for about 10 minutes about how the balls have been manufactured differently and talking about the pressurization of the balls and how they lose pressure quickly. Very technical stuff. Ultimately, I would say it's a bit slower than last year.
Yeah, I didn't want the last 10 minutes of that. I turned off after about 90 seconds.
I like all that stuff. I don't mind. I don't necessarily want to listen to it, but I like to read what's been said afterwards. Yeah. And I think it's interesting because you've got one guy, the world number 2, saying it's very slow, and the world number 4 saying, well, it's medium fast. There you go.
Pick the bones out of that. Whatever you make out of that, you can. But anyway, it's certainly slower than what it was last year. I think that's fair. It's very, very quick, and that's one thing. Whether it's a very slow court, whether it's a quicker normal court, we have to gauge the information from the books. But I think it's to hear about who's the fittest and who's motivated. There's money, obviously, huge amount of money, but fitness is obviously a long season is really, and obviously illness as well here is a big important factor in this group. Alexander Zverev is fit. Carlos Alcaraz clearly isn't fit, and that's factored into the prices. It's also factored into the match prices for tomorrow. Let's have a look at some of these match prices. Only 2 matches. The first match we are going to discuss is the one that starts at 8 a.m. Eastern, and it involves Carlos Alcaraz, who's up against Andrey Rublev. Now, Carlos Alcaraz here, despite being injured or being sick, despite his inept performance, really, against Casper Ruud, he also was terrible. We're forgetting he was awful against Hugo Humbert as well, especially in the first innings. Well, he was awful.
That was too quick for him, wasn't it? He couldn't handle it at all, and I don't think he could be bothered, to be honest. I think he thought, this is too quick. I'll try my best, but it's not happening if it's not happening. Sorry.
He's also been poor. He also lost against Botic van der Sandschip at the US Open. He hasn't been the same player since he won Wimbledon. He hasn't been the same player, really, since the Olympics. If we're being fair, when he lost to Novak Djokovic, that seemed to take a lot out of him. And, he isn't... I said when we come in, I didn't know he was unfit, but I thought at the prices he was the fade of the tournament. Now, he could still go on and win it. He could still win this match and win the tournament. But I just thought the price of him, we are betting him as peak Alcaraz. Now, we've missed the boat slightly against Casper Ruud, haven't we? There was the opportunity really to get against him if we knew the information at a big price. We've missed the boat slightly. And now these prices have been hugely factored in, because if Alcaraz had won that match, or he had played a lot better and there was no doubt about him, you would expect Alcaraz to be probably around about minus 450. He's minus 225. Andrey Rublev is plus 180. The spread's 2.5, and the total here is 22.5. Interestingly enough, though, Rublev does have a 2-1 winning record against Alcaraz in the head-to-heads. Obviously, one of them was an exhibition match in 2022. He did beat him in Madrid on clay in Spain. Massive win for him in 2024 this year. And but Alcaraz beat him at the Mart here 2 years ago in this tournament. So this is an interesting match for me because we have factored in the problem with Alcaraz, but have we factored it enough? That's where do we go at these prices, really?
A good question. You pay your money, you take your choice, don't you? I mean, this is a very difficult match to have any real firm opinion on, just because of the fact that we don't know what Carlos Alcaraz is going to be like on the day. You know, he's obviously got some sort of virus or something. You probably know more about it than I do, but it's certainly got some sort of illness that obviously affected him pretty badly in that defeat to Casper Ruud. And he said, "My stomach limited me a lot from being able to play and feel comfortable."
My stomach limits me a lot to play tennis and feel comfortable, I must admit.
You probably aren't playing at this level, though.
Yeah, but my stomach, eating frazzles and other various crisps all day, sitting on my bum, but nothing to do with this. But, there is an interesting thing he said there.
I had to have a bacon, sausage and egg sandwich this morning.
You had to?
I had to. Well, yes, because I walked past the coffee place and they were doing a little deal. You know how I like my deals? It was £5 for a coffee and a bacon sandwich. So I thought, okay, pretty reasonable on the way in from the school run. Popped in there, ordered it. The woman completely lost focus of what she was doing, and instead of making me a bacon sandwich, she made me bacon, sausage and egg.
Oh, you got the value.
I did get the value, and I thought, and she went, she's, I've forgotten what I'm doing. She says, "Do you want me to take the sausage and the egg off?" I said, "Well, you've done it now."
Yeah.
So I did have to eat it.
Yeah.
And it's nice when you eat it, but about an hour or so later, it's a problem.
That's my morning sausage. I have hot cross buns in the morning, a couple of cappuccinos, sausage sandwich. That's my
every day.
Every day. Then about 4 packs of crisps, frazzles, spicy knickknacks, frazzles.
And you wonder why you're not in peak fitness.
I'm on a diet now. I'm on 3 packs of crisps.
3 packs, yeah.
Let's go back to the match.
Let's go back. So Alcaraz it's not to do with the bacon sandwich that Alcaraz has got a problem. But he talked again about the schedule, didn't he? The amount of players that are going on about this all the time, and I understand it perfectly. It's a very good case. He said, "I am tired. Mentally, I am tired." So he's tired mentally. We know that. It's a very long season. He's got this virus. His record on indoor hard isn't particularly great lately. If you look at his last 10 main level matches, 50% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 103. Now, if you compare that 103 total to his record on outdoor hard, his outdoor hard stats are 112. So he's miles down on indoor hard compared to outdoor hard. And if we look at what Andrey Rublev has done, last 10 matches, main level, indoor hard, exactly the same stats as Alcaraz, 50% win rate and a total of 103. So and he's ill, Alcaraz. So minus 225, not for me. He might come in and be absolutely fine. This virus might have gone. We don't know. Rublev, as you said, beat Alcaraz in their most recent match on clay, which is also at altitude in Madrid. But again, there's a kind of mitigating thing there. Alcaraz is coming back from that arm injury that he had. And both guys were also sick that week. If you remember, Rublev went on to win the title and then went straight to hospital with the trophy because he had some sort of virus thing that he couldn't shift, and he was completely drained, and he'd won it and then went straight off to the local Madrid infirmary. So how much value do you put on that match? Perhaps not much. If you look at the 2 main level matches, we forget the one at the Mubadala exhibition. The stats of the 2 main level meetings that they've had: service points won and return points won totals. Alcaraz 105, Rublev 95, and it's kind of the same old story with Rublev. Second serve points, his second serve is pretty weak. It's pretty attackable. In this head-to-head, Alcaraz has won 68% of second serve points, which is very, very healthy indeed. Rublev 47%, and it's the same issue for Rublev. If we look at what Rublev's done all time against the players that are in this World Tour Finals field, he's only winning 45% of his second serve points. Alcaraz is winning 53%. So, I mean, it's a difficult one to bet because of the way Alcaraz is, but I suspect he'll, after that performance against Ruud, I suspect he'll want to put things right here. I might be tempted with the set one overs here. I feel like Rublev's going to be competitive. Alcaraz, it's guesswork, but I do like the plus 220 that Bet Rivers are offering about this going over 10.5 in set one. I feel like it could be one of them when it's a competitive first set, and then whoever wins it maybe runs away with the second. So perhaps not too interested in the total games, but I think first set could be tight. So plus 220, I think that would be a small lean for me.
Yeah, plus 220 over 10.5 on set number one. I'm looking at the line now. I think that may have moved a little bit. It's actually plus 185 now over 10.5.
Oh, okay. I looked at that.
It's moved
a couple of hours ago.
Slightly against us there, plus 185, but still maybe a little bit. Rublev is one of the best prices you'll find in the world with Bet Rivers, plus 180. Bet Rivers market makers believe Alcaraz will bounce back. Remember, it is whoever loses this is out. They've gone. They're finished. They're on the way home. So it's an important match for them as well. A lot of money at stake, and Alcaraz is the favourite with Bet Rivers at minus 225. It's 8:30 a.m. start, and you'll be able to watch the match live on the Bet Rivers app or your tablet if you do place a wager on the Bet Rivers website or the app as well. So you'll be able to watch live and bet live with Bet Rivers. Make sure you download this podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios, and follow us across all our socials at Because We Win on Instagram and on Twitter. Let's move on to our second match and our final match. The only two matches in the group tomorrow. And this one is a very different. We've got a very, very heavy favourite here. And it's good for us because it's our man. It's Alexander Zverev. We don't want any problems. We want him to ease through this match fairly comfortably. 2 sets to love. Job done. That is what we want. Alexander Zverev is minus 670 to win this match and ease through to the semi-finals. He's up against Casper Ruud. Obviously beat Alcaraz. It's plus 480. Spread 4.5. Total here is 21.5. As we have said in our preview show, Ruud hadn't beaten a top 20 player hadn't won a game of tennis on the tour for 2 months. But he won against Alcaraz. Is that a match that we look into Alcaraz or look into Ruud turning the form book on the head? If you look at the head-to-head, it is 3-2 to Zverev, but one of Zverev wins was the first time. It was a walkover. So in competitive matches, it's 2-2. Zverev won in the French Open this year, and Ruud won in the French Open last year. Prior to that, Ruud beat Zverev in Miami in 2022, and Zverev won indoors in Paris, where he just won the tournament as well. But that victory against Ruud was in 2021. So you would tend to say that Zverev has the edge on current. Well, he definitely got the edge on current form, but Ruud has given him problems before, and lines here of minus 670. Although I believe Alexander Zverev will win, I think they are very, very low odds.
It is pretty short, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't bet many people at minus 670 anyway, especially not at this stage of the season. I mean, Zverev was all right yesterday. Doesn't mean he's going to be all right today. If he's tomorrow, should I say? If he's been hanging around with Alcaraz, which is quite possible, then anything could happen to these guys if there's some sort of bug going around. I mean, yeah, it was a great start for Alexander Zverev for our outright, wasn't it? Exactly what I wanted. Impressive win over Rublev in what's a pretty good matchup for him normally, and obviously Alcaraz struggling as well is a bonus. It couldn't have gone better for us really the first couple of days. There's also this world number 2 ranking which is at stake as well, which is probably no small thing between Zverev and Alcaraz. I mean, Zverev's in a very good position to secure that now, which would obviously make him number 2 seed for the Australian Open. So Zverev obviously still motivated. He's riding this wave, isn't he? The Paris-Bercy, and he's come here and he's beaten Rublev, pretty convincingly. Very good serving performance. I mean, as far as the head-to-head's concerned between these two, I mean, Ruud has only beaten Zverev in slow conditions. In Miami, when it was a lot slower than it has been in the last couple of years, when they met in 2022, the Miami Open, the CPI was around about 32, which is pretty slow. It's normally pretty humid. You've been there a couple of times. It's normally pretty hot and humid there, isn't it? So the balls tend to fluff up as well. It's kind of slow, or it certainly was in 2022. And Zverev also had a neck injury that day. I remember that match. He had some sort of neck problem. So, and it still went to 3 sets. So I wouldn't read too much into that. And also a similar scenario at the French Open on clay in 2023. Zverev was on the comeback trail still, really, from that bad injury that he'd had at the French Open the previous year. He didn't really click into gear, Zverev, until the end of that year, or the start of this year. So it was well after that. So perhaps no surprise that Ruud won that match as well. The all-time head-to-head is pretty good for Zverev in terms of service points won and return points won totals across all their meetings, 108-92 in favour of Zverev. And second serve points won is pretty much the same between the two across all their meetings. But the key difference is the first serve. Zverev's winning 78% of his first serve points against Ruud. Ruud's only winning 30% of return points. So he's had no real clue on the Zverev serve. And as I said, some of these meetings were played in pretty slow conditions. If we also look at what Casper Ruud's done at the Tour Finals over the years, he only wins 29% of return points at this tournament. Maybe the fact that it's slightly slower this year will help him, but if you saw Zverev serving against Rublev, you wouldn't say it was an easy game for the returner by any means. If Zverev's hitting his spots on this court, you've got problems as a returner. So it feels like the Zverev first serve is going to be key, the key shot in this match. If he serves well, I would expect Zverev to win this one, with maybe a little bit to spare. Again, how to bet it, it's not that easy. A similar sort of tactic to what we did in the last Zverev match, or what I suggested in the last Zverev match. Again, 6-4 to Zverev here. It's pretty obvious that he is likely, if he wins the toss, to receive. So, well, certainly Bet Rivers think that. So plus 245 about Zverev winning 6-4 again is a small lean here. They're not the easiest of matches, these, but that would probably be where I would go if I was having a bet.
No, they are tricky matches. They're always tricky matches when you've got heavy favourites as well. Zverev is the heavy favourite, minus 670. I thought there might be a little bit of value getting with Zverev to win 2 sets to love, because I do think Casper Ruud was very fortunate to run into an injured Alcaraz, and I don't believe that he's anywhere near motivated. I don't think he's anywhere near the player that
he's not confident. He said that. He said, "I'm not confident. I've managed to win it," because I saw him. If you saw him trying to serve that match out, it was very shaky. And Alcaraz gave him, if you think about it, Alcaraz gave him 34 unforced errors in 2 sets. That's over 8 games just in errors. So Casper Ruud played all right. He wasn't great. He wasn't. He was pretty decent, but. It wasn't anything that Zverev should think, I'm a bit worried about how Casper's playing. It wasn't that. It was more, Alcaraz having a pretty awful day. So I would think Zverev will win this. I certainly hope he does. I hope he wins it quite comfortably.
Yeah, I think he will win quite comfortably. But the minus 225 is the price for Zverev to win 2 sets to love, which doesn't. If it was sort of like minus
maybe
150,
I
might have played it. I do think the spread here at 4.5 is a dodgy number. You said Zverev 6-4, 6-4 wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, you've lost.
It covers the 4.5. Total 21. It just looks a very trappy match, whichever way you go.
A lot of them do at this Tour Finals. That's why it's down there on my not keen list.
There are 38 different markets available. There's 42 different markets available. I've just checked the website now. 42 different markets available. So if we can't find any value, you might be able to find some value. If you have got a bet, you like a bet, post it in the comments bottom bar below. Let us know what you think. We'll cheer it on for you. But for us, 6-4, Zverev set number 1. It cashed for us in the opening match, and hopefully we can cash again here. Looking good on the future market as well. So hopefully we can get a win for Zverev, getting through to the semi-finals, avoid Sinner, and hopefully a bit of luck along the way. And hopefully a little bit of luck along the way here towards the end of the season. Minus 5.18 units on the year so far. As Zverev wins it, we turn the negative into a positive year, as exactly what Roy Girani did in the last couple of weeks of the WTA Tour. He ended up with plus 1.49. And the English Premier League show, minus 391, an extra time, plus 13.49 on the season so far. Sean, any official play? What's the official play then?
No official play today.
No official play. So that's it. We're just cheering on Zverev for our future position. We'll be back again tomorrow for the final Betting Weekly Game Bet match of 2024. And if Sean can't find you a bet, I'm going to go out in style. We're going to go shooting out. We're going to get some bets for you. And we're going to cash some tickets on the final show. That's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, Sean. Speak to you again tomorrow.
Thanks.